It's all the outside wrestling world can talk about, so we have to come here and talk about the CM Punk tape. And more importantly, ladies and gentlemen, we have Tama Tonga. Welcome to the Dark Match.
People have been asking me, why, Eddie, why?
I'm better than you. My eyes are red. I was in the back smoking a joint with Van Dam. You know it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Dark Match. Welcome back to the Dangerous Jobbers podcast. I'm your boy Stevie Jobber. That is
Dangerous
your
Duke.
amazing co-host Dangerous Duke, and we are bringing you a short dark match today to talk about the two top things in wrestling. That is the CM Punk tape that finally got leaked. Not the tape you might think it is, and the fact that WWE has officially signed and officially debuted Tama Tonga. We are going to get to both of those things very shortly. First, knocking out the AEW news or the CM Punk news or whatever news you want to call it, if it is really even news. We're gonna get your take about it, Duke, because I'm not really sure where I land. So I should start with the MMA hour. CM Punk was on the MMA hour where, because he wasn't doing anything for WrestleMania, it was natural that he discussed what it was like coming back for that little bit of time and what it was like leading up to that, which of course consists of AEW. And because he was talking to what he believes was a real journalist, he divulged and he basically just gave his side of the story. No real resentment, no real remorse, just putting it plain and letting it be received. And he divulged what really happened that day with him and Jungle Boy Jack Perry, now the scapegoat in New Japan. And he basically said that after going off on numerous different people that were the people that were part of the AEW team that should have been handling this problem, they all came to CM Punk, or Tony came to CM Punk, not Tony Khan, Tony Schiavone,
Shivani.
and just asked him to get Jack Perry to stop doing this crazy thing. And as much as Punk did not want to do it, he was roped into it, and he had said some words to him. And then they get to a show down the line, and of course, the real glass line comes out, and Punk just comes right up to him. It's like, "Hey, man, do we have a problem?" Like, and then they get into a bit of a thing of words, and Punk, he choked him out of it. Was his words, and then people came to break it up. And shortly after this MMA Hour interview, that could have easily been tossed under the rug, Tony Khan decided we're going to release the footage of what happened between CM Punk and Jack Perry that night at Wembley. And the Young Bucks roll it out because I guess they decided we got to make it story. We can't just release the footage like anything. So they've used it to say that that's why their head wasn't in the right place at Wembley, causing them to lose against FTR. FTR comes out and says, we want to move past this. If this is where your guys are going to be stuck in the past from all these months ago, we're going to pick up the ball, the people that love this company, and we're going to run it ourselves. That is the full story. The backlash of releasing the footage has been not really mixed emotions. I want to say 80% of it has been backfiring, and maybe 20% of it has been understanding. Duke, after explaining all of that, where is your head at? How do you feel about Tony Khan releasing the footage? Should it have been done? Is it a good thing? Has it backfired on him? What's your take?
Well, first things first, Punk describing what went down. on the Ariel Helwani show, the MMA Hour. Um, and then leading up to them actually releasing the footage, it was basically what he said. He told no lies in what was shown in the footage that dropped that they said was detrimental footage, saying it was detrimental for storyline purposes, but subconsciously it's for detrimental for something else. He did everything he said he did in that video. He went up to him, he talked to him, he didn't punch him, he just choked him a little bit. Like Uncle Chael said, I can't let you get close.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like there's a reason that they're not playing the audio of the video. They're just showing the video. You're a $1 million company. You have all this state of the art equipment and whatnot. You don't have cameras with audio,
Mm-hmm.
especially in a place like Wembley. It doesn't make sense. So something has to be hidden here that they're not even trying to share. Maybe they're not sharing the audio of it because maybe Punk really did say everything he said he said. And then even the people that were back there with him, he said Joe was back there. He said a couple other of his friends were back there. What other friends were back there? Lethal was in the background, and so was Hook. All people he doesn't really have an issue with. Two of them are people he's known for years, and one of them is somebody he just recently met, but has respect for. So I'm siding with the people that are saying this is backfiring on them because in a way it is. This is the video that shows what Tony feared for his life for. Like if that's
Yeah.
you, if that's you fearing for your life, dude, I'm sorry. You must have never gone to a public school. You must have never had friends outside of a gated community. I I'm with the majority here. This makes AEW look worse than it makes Punk look. That's my stance on it.
Yeah, I feel like it had me on the fence because I watched the entire show. When
Mm-hmm.
there's something to be interested in, I will give you all of my view time for Dynamite.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I don't know when the next time I'll be interested in Dynamite is gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to give it the fair shake to like maybe I'll show up next week if I give it the whole show.
And
Um
I want to say because you just said that, I will give AEW some credit. They did boost their numbers a little bit that week. I think their average viewership was around like somewhere in the 400, 500,000. They managed to knock it up a few 100,000 just for that week. So kudos to them. I mean, they got some viewers, some extra viewers out of it, but it didn't necessarily yield positive results in the end.
mhm. And that's what I'm saying. Like I saw it. I saw how the angle they were using to make it okay to show the footage, and FTR coming out doing a promo directly after, kind of tying it in. Like they did their best to not make it look tacky, but there's no way around the fact that because it doesn't show anything contrary, it is just kind of cheap.
Yeah,
And I just hope that the silver lining will be from FTR's promo that this will be the last time they address it. Punk said
please.
it. We used it for views. And then the promo directly after is if we're not staying on this, the people that are actually in this company are going to start to run this company if this is where you're going to be. And if the EVP's whole gimmick of falling into being these worst case scenario bosses, everybody's becoming a different version of Vince now that he's gone, I guess. Um, Look at what does that tell you? But if they're gonna continue on this bad boss thing and just let the roster kind of run the place and move on from the elite as it is as being major plot points, I support that if that's what we're gonna use this as an opportunity to do. Um I don't have much of that's not the direction they're gonna go in. If this literally was just to keep poking at CM Punk to get more eyes, then I mean, kudos to you guys for maybe finding something that works. But I mean, I feel like that's only gonna backfire again if Punk comes back.
I feel like if they keep doing this, they're gonna end up. Ironically enough, I'm wearing a Jeff Hardy shirt. The writing on the wall that I see is this is very, very eerily similar to WCW and when they started to go down. You had these talents that weren't necessarily vice presidents, but they were kind of running stuff with Hall and Nash.
Mm,
And that's when it started to go down, when certain things would happen. And right now, them certain things are happening. Talent was leaving, talent was just running the show for themselves. They were disgruntled, they didn't like it. I feel like soon we're going to start hitting that point. And a lot of people are going to get pissed off in AEW, and a lot of people are going to jump ship.
mm.
I think this could be, if they don't know how to rebound from it the right way, it could be a rough road ahead for them.
I do hope they put it together. And before we leave this, I just want to say because I watched the whole show, few good things. The show overall was good. Can't lie to you about that. That was the only awkward part about it. I thought the Jericho stuff, them leaning into Jericho ruining young careers as a gimmick, is hilarious. And
Mm-hmm.
attaching Hook and Takeshita to that, hilarious. Other good parts of the Tony Storm is always good. Thunder Rosa being back on TV, always good. The House of Black stuff is great. I'm not really sure where I am on the Edge retirement thing. Not a retirement thing. I'm at the Edge, like, I don't even know what to call this run. There's like
The undefeated run.
these DLC packs of Edge's career that he's on.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, they're like DLC packs. They're like extra missions you did not necessarily have to do because the story's over, but I mean they're there, so.
Mm-hmm.
um, I'm still kind of on the fence about that, but he's having fun, so positive. Uh, Chicken is the new ROH title, positive. The new ROH champion, so positive. So everything else on the show, pretty good. Swerve, Joe. Everything else on the show is pretty
Mm-hmm.
solid. This was just again is a major story. It's something you kind of want to get past,
Yeah.
and we'll leave it at that. The more important news concerning more important members of the Bullet Club, concerning more important, more bloodline related business. Yo, do we know how to call it or do we know how to call it? Because as we're watching WrestleMania, me and Duke have already discussed the possible reconciliation of WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
And I think just on a whim, with Fantasy Book Solo getting his own bloodline at one point because Fatu was a free agent. Where would Fatu go? Tama Tonga's no longer in New Japan. And we just kind of, I think maybe us and then a collective of wrestling community. Maybe simultaneously. Maybe we're taking too much credit. But there was just this thing of like, I think if Solo was to have his own bloodline, they could bring in Fatu and they could bring in Tama Tonga or just different ways they could use them.
Mm-hmm.
And during WrestleMania, Tama Tonga's posting pictures, Fatu's posting oddly related pictures. They
Mm-hmm.
know something's up that we don't know, but they're not actually coming out and saying anything. You only know if you know. And Friday we found out.
Yeah, that we did.
And so glad we watched live.
I'm glad too.
If you're following us on TikTok, if you're not following us on TikTok, Go catch my reaction because I have it pinned to the story because it was the most exciting part of my Friday night, and we had quite a blast talking about it after. But to paint the picture, Roman Reigns is not at work.
No.
He's taken time off to recover from his dominant near 4 year reign as world champion, as being the greatest of all time.
He's on
He is
sabbatical.
he's on sabbatical. Uso, Jimmy, Solo, Paul walking in the hallway, headed to the Bloodline locker room. Not the Bloodline locker room. It's Cody Rhodes' locker room. They're not allowed. Solo's pissed. He feels wronged. He is
Mm-hmm.
upset. Paul
Rightfully
stops
so.
him. Paul stops him. Solo, that is a consequence. There are consequences to losing
Mm-hmm.
because we do not have the championship. We do not have that locker room. That is a consequence.
You don't get the perks.
That to me was strike one.
Mm-hmm.
You taught Solo there are consequences for everybody's actions. Then we get later into the night. They address the bloodline as a collective losing to Cody Rhodes, and there are no excuses. And if you watch it back in retrospect, Solo's adding this up in real time, but he's already made his moves.
Mm-hmm.
He is already called for the consequences. Paul says Cody bit it straight up, fair. There are no excuses. He is the world champion. Roman, we lost. We're done. And then as he goes to say that like a phoenix out of the ashes, he will rise, Solo stops him. Just right up in his face. Says there are consequences for losses, right? Losses mean something,
Mm-hmm.
right?
That they do.
Paul answers scared, yes. That is what I said to you. That is correct. And Solo, looking around and finding no other big dog but him, decides that these consequences mean change. What kind of change would he mean? Goes over, gives a big hug to Jim Uso.
Mm-hmm. Big
Tells him
brother.
he love him.
Love you, big brother.
Then turns his back on him.
Mm-hmm.
And who other than a gorilla of destiny?
A good bad guy.
The man himself, a very good bad guy, Tama Tonga, came in and decimated Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
Took him out.
Silent assassin.
Gets him up. Solo gives him the spike, and you can hear Paul from the corner shrieking, please, like he saw a murder. God, I
Mm-hmm.
love Paul Heyman's acting.
No.
Like he
No.
saw his own man get shot right in front of him. They spiked Jimmy Uso to death.
Like
Then they
Opie just
stand
got hit
together.
with the pipe.
They stand together. Paul thought he next. Solo said, "No, you good, wise man.
You the wise man.
Stand next to me. We straight. I need you around. I wouldn't
Mm-hmm.
know that losing means consequences without you. Need the wise man. Need that." Paul stand next to him. They throw the ones up. And then Paul makes a crucial mistake. Paul pulls out that phone, old Paulie dangerously, that phone. And he goes, call Roman
Mm-hmm.
before he can finish. Solo turns his head over. I know you are not calling Roman Reigns right now.
Give me that phone.
He took the phone. He stomped on the phone. It said, I don't think Paul gets it. Tama help Paul get it. Tama go get the chair.
Mm-hmm.
Tama goes and gets a chair. They wrap a chair around Jimmy Uso's neck while he's sitting in the corner. Then he tells him one last time, I love you. I love you. And then proceeds to walk to the other corner and then throw that big Samoan hip right into that chair, killing Jimmy Uso.
Oh, dude, when I tell you, I have been waiting for this moment for a long time. First things first, give the credit where the credit is due. Roman Reigns, one hell of a 4-year run, 3.5-year run, arguably the greatest title reign of the last 20 years. It can be imitated, but it will not be duplicated. However, times are changing. There is consequences for these losses. And that consequence is Tama Tonga and Solo Sikoa. Dude, you know how happy I was for this. I've been clamoring for Tama for the last few years, and to watch it live and in real time, I could have ran through a wall like the Kool-Aid Man in Family Guy, and you would have seen my imprint in the damn wall. That's how excited I was for this. You can't see it right now because it's covered. I covered it for a specific reason. I ripped my Tama Tonga figure off the wall. I was so excited. This is like this top WrestleMania for me. I was there. We were there. Seeing Tama. SmackDown was better than Raw. SmackDown was the show of the week just because I got to see Tama Tonga on a WWE screen. There's not enough I could say about how happy I was.
I mean, I'm with you, man. I was loud at a time when the neighbors were quiet, I'm sure.
One of those rare times.
And I'm sure they had no idea what I was yelling about, but I was losing my mind, man. I was losing my mind. And it was just some of the greatest. It was the best moment. Like, I don't need any special announcements to be cliche. Sometimes you just want whatever you think could happen to happen. And this was a brilliant moment of something that we thought could happen happening. That we at one time never thought could happen.
Exactly.
And just being, we are in, I'm saying it here because I told myself I'd say it the next time we potted. We're officially in Triple H's cinematic universe.
Yes.
The moment that they changed the then, now, forever together to be so Marvel like, we are in the Triple H cinematic universe.
Yes.
Because we have superheroes, super villains, and this whole thing is playing out like a comic book because things you never believed could happen are suddenly happening every week.
Dude.
And it's it really is just amazing.
It
Tell me about this one. Tell me, did you see Paul coming out of the training room with
mhm.
them trying to get a word, and before he really could even get into it, Tama striking the fear of the tribal chief into him,
Mhm.
goes up and says, by order of the tribal chief, and walks off with Solo after he looks at his thumb with that wild look that his that Umaga had, Uncle Umaga.
What does that even mean?
What does that even mean? You know what that means? For anybody who didn't get it, let me tell you what that means. It means I'm the tribal chief now. I don't know who you were on the phone about to call. You must be out of your mind. I'm the tribal chief. That's his consequence. This is my home now. You
Mhm.
said the only way we restore things is if the title comes back to the bloodline. He ain't here. Who's supposed to bring it back? Me. This is my Mad Dog. This is my
Mhm.
Jey Uso. I got Tama Tonga. That's my war dog. My
Dude,
gorilla, if you will.
yeah.
Okay? Are you ready for Solo's bloodline? And just what is everything you want from this Tama Tonga debut?
I don't even know. I'm gonna be honest. I don't even know, and I'm okay with that.
Hmm.
I trust the bloodline. I trust Triple H. It will be good. This is one of the rare times I won't fantasy book. I won't make a prediction. We got Tama. I trust Triple H and I trust the bloodline. I'm okay. It'll
That
be
feels
good.
that seems like it feels so good for you right now. To just be like,
Yes.
man, I trust the system.
This is like Michael Cole said, wrestling is cool again, and this is a damn good time to be a wrestling fan. I don't
Absolutely, man.
I don't even want to book the bloodline stuff. I'll book Cody, I'll book Damien, I'll book anything else. I'm just gonna let Triple H handle the bloodline and let the bloodline do them right now. Because they said we were in the ninth inning of the bloodline. I don't even think we're in the ninth inning. I think we're more like in the seventh inning.
Mm.
We're in our seventh inning stretch right now.
I would go so far to say we're probably in five.
Yeah, see,
We're
I think
probably in five.
I
I
think I
think we'll
think
hit. I think we'll hit seventh, maybe top of the eighth after next WrestleMania.
yeah, could be.
I mean, we might have that long, but it feels it's a great time to be a wrestling fan. Like you said, it's an amazing time to be a Bloodline fan. We're again in Triple H's cinematic universe, and hopefully AEW can find a way to, I don't know, catch on to some of this before you end up like DC, because they are taking off. They are on another level, and despite missing out on Will Ospreay, which we'll get to at another time, they seem to be doing very, very well for themselves despite. Um, and that's just a great place to end it, man. We stay tuned. We got more stuff. If you are not following us and you've made it all the way to the end of this, you might as well subscribe. You might as well like wherever you're listening to this at. If you agree, You might as well comment that you agree. If you disagree, you might as well say something. You've made it this far, man. We are the Dangerous Jobbers podcast. I'm your boy Stevie Jobber,
I'm your boy Dangerous Duke.
and this has been the Dark Match.
People have been asking me.